Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm your host, Roger Connect, president of Universal Accounting Center. It's here each and every week. We actually have on the show guests to actually help us work on our businesses, helping us actually offer quality accounting services and get paid what we're worth. As the host, I've actually worked with and actually interviewed a number of individuals to help us address things ranging from marketing, selling, pricing, mental health, things related to client onboarding, client retention, tech stacks, training staff. Each and every week is a surprise. Why? Because we're diving into the various things that you need to consider as you're working on your business to build the premier accounting firm in your area. This week, we're having a wonderful conversation. This is a return guest, somebody that I've known for some time, and I'm excited to have him on the show. This is Mike Milan. Mike happens to be our guest who knows how to help businesses find the hidden cash flow and build financial strength. Cash Flow Mike happens to be one who has helped uncover over $150 million of cash and increase business values by over $1 billion. That's billion with a B. As a creator of the Clear Path to Cash framework, he trains accountants, bookkeepers, and advisors to confidently guide their clients towards better financial decisions. If you're looking to add more value to your services and get paid what you're worth, you're in the right place. So we're going to dive into this today with Mike. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, live from San Antonio, it's Cash Flow Mike, right, Roger?
That is exactly right.
You were looking trim, my man. What are you doing? I mean, you're looking fantastic.
Thank you. I've lost 35 pounds recently, so I'm less of a man.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, thank you for noticing, though. I'm curious, who does notice? And at the end of the day, it's taken a lot of effort. So I'm going to the gym, I'm exercising, doing some diet things. So it's paying off. It's good.
Well, I hadn't seen you since September, I think, when we were both at ProfitCon. So I think it was just the time difference, right? If you're with somebody all the time, you don't notice it. Yep. But I've got a little bit of gap between seeing you. So I'm like, yeah, there's a big noticeable difference. I mean, you're looking great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been something I've been doing now for over a year. And in the year, 35 pounds. It's kind of interesting. At the end of the day, I don't think I look much different, but I know I do because I can do a side-by-side comparison and it's clear. I just didn't realize I was as overweight as I was because I was fine. It's not until I hit about 230 in weight that I start dealing with some health issues like acid reflux, for example. So once I am below the 230, I'm fine. So I don't feel too differently, but obviously I look a lot different. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's an amazing transformation, man. You're looking good.
Well, I'm not done. I've got a few more pounds I'm going to lose. I'm trying to lose at least another 10, 15 more. So hopefully I won't go too frail, but I'm liking it. We're doing good. It's coming up on the summer months. So maybe I'll look really good and trim for summer.
Good. Well, I'm going to see you here in another month or so, right?
Yes, actually, a few weeks. You're going to be at GrowCon. So GrowCon is going to be something that we're going to be at, and more importantly, you're going to be speaking at it.
Hey, I'm ready, man. I tell you what, and this is going to be new material for me, right? This is something based on my new book, Don't Tell Me What to Do. It's about having a conversation that doesn't get people to be compliant with what you say, but to be committed to take the actions themselves. So it's a really interesting way to get people to take action to improve their own business.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit. What's the difference between being compliant and actually implementing these things?
Yeah, what's funny is that, all right, so I've got to give you some background on this book, all right? So I was teaching accountants, bookkeepers, just the math, the techniques that I use to find hidden cash, to improve business value, those type of things. And while we were role-playing, trying to get people to really feel comfortable with using these techniques, people would always stop me in the middle of the role play and go, I want to be able to do that. And I'm like going, what? They said, the way you talk to people, I want to be able to do that. So there was a disconnect in, being able to do the math, which most everybody can do, to actually having a conversation that gets people committed to doing and want to do it and excited about taking the next step. So what's funny is that it's a combination. This techniques I've put together is a combination of two different skills that I've learned.
Okay.
One, most people know me that my first job ever was I was a state trooper in St. Louis for 7 years, right?
I knew that.
Yeah. And as a state trooper, they teach you something at the academy called verbal judo. So think wax on, wax off, but for but for a state trooper, right? So, but that's about getting compliance a lot of times. Do this because I say. But really, there's a little bit of soft, subtle techniques to help people not want to fight, right? It's a de-escalation type technique. The next thing I did is that it took me almost 25 years past that point. COVID hit, and I don't know if you're like me, but I watched more TV during COVID than I did before.
No, I didn't.
I actually did it. And Courtney, she sat down and started watching the show Hoarders. You ever seen that?
Oh yeah, I have.
All right. So she said, "Hey, watch this." And I started watching it, and I didn't like the disorder. I mean, it's sad. It's sad to see. But what was amazing to see was the way the psychologist talked to the person with the hoarding disorder. And instantly it went into my mind saying, oh my God, those are the conversations I have with business owners. This is, a person that we can all see the problem. How do I get you to want to take the action to correct it? Right. So listening to the psychologist, combining it with what I did as a state trooper, I was able to put together the book, and now I'm teaching that as part of my course.
So one of the things that really stood out to me in there is the fact that you're talking about communication. And what I really feel is there's a lot to be said about the numbers. Clearly there's a math to it, right? There's a formula that you can follow. But unless you can communicate this effectively to your clients, it's difficult for them to then use it and implement it. So there's the sales side of things. How do you articulate what it is you can do? And then there's the delivery of here's what you're learning and here's what the application is. Is that a good explanation of what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. Right. I mean, first of all, there is the sales part, and I don't like to be sold. Maybe you do. I love to buy. I just don't want to be sold. Right?
Okay.
Which means kind of pushed when I'm not ready. So the way I do it is more of a soft introduction when you're ready, because I can teach anybody the skills, right? Just like you can, in your business. But if you don't have the will, I can't do anything. You got to have the heart, right? So the conversation is to get you to want to do this, because that's where you're going to get the quick wins. That's where your client's going to see the best success. Is I can do these bite-sized, consumable chunks of information, get you quick wins, and you'll want to do it more. It kind of just compounds on itself.
So from that, you've also written a book, The 7-Minute Conversation. What's that?
That's my most popular one. I've done that now for almost 10 years, right? In seminars, I think I might have done it at GrowCon a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact. But the 7-minute conversation is twofold, right? One, I built it because I was running 5 companies at one time, and it gave me a quick glimpse into all 5 companies. So I knew where the biggest problems were and where the fires were, right? I call the technique the home run financial system. And I call it that because it touches all the bases. It's a little bit from the income statement, a little bit from the balance sheet, and a little bit from the cash flow statement, right? So it's like rounding the bases. Most people will lean on one versus the other. This actually touches all 3 of them at the same time and points to the problems. The second thing I use it for is educating clients, meaning most people that come to me says, hey, my accountant gives me these reports. I don't know what I'm looking at. Help me understand it. Well, what I do is I teach them these 6 calculations. They can analyze their own company in 7 minutes, not analyze it like maybe an accountant or bookkeeper or financial advisor would, but analyze it enough to see if something's on fire, right?
Very
so
high
it's
level.
a way to, yeah, that's right. So it's a way to educate, or it's a way to get a quick glimpse into a company.
So now what we're talking about here, I think a few things that are in that space of the CFO and advisory realm. It's beyond the bookkeeping, accounting. It's not the tax planning or preparation. So it's clearly in that CFO space. When you're actually working with accounting professionals and they're considering, wow, I like this. I think this is something that I can offer my clients. I think it's something that I can do. And more importantly, perhaps even charge for. How do you actually get an accountant to see that this is something that they should consider providing as a service that is standalone, not something that they're just doing for free, not something that they're just bundling into what they're actually offering now, but actually see it as a revenue source for their company? How do you help an accountant go into that mindset?
I think their clients are already pushing them that way, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's anything I have to say or to present or sell. What I do is I provide a methodology to help them do it, but it's the client driving the action. I mean, my biggest argument back in the early 2000s with my CPA was, okay, you did this great work, you did a lot of math. What do I do next? And our conversation would stop because he didn't know that next step. Because accountants, bookkeepers by trade, if you've been baptized in GAAP, right? Meaning that they're only going to do the historical part, right? You're a historian for a business and it has to be super accurate. Well, what's hard is going forward, looking into the future where it maybe not as accurate. Maybe sometimes you're wrong, but it's about using the data to pick the best course of action and then hoping that the execution actually gets you there. So I call bookkeepers advisors and all that. I said, you got to become the mindset of a financial GPS, right? That's, and I tell you, and you have to use the language of the person that you're talking to, right? That's
Yes.
why the communication comes in, because if not, it's like using a GPS in an unfamiliar city that's speaking a different language, and you're like going, yeah, the data's right there, but I don't know what it's saying. I don't know how to get it right. So
I
you've
don't
got
I
to
don't know what
talk.
to do next.
That's right. You can see the map, you can hear it, but you don't understand it.
Yeah. So when you're talking to accounting professionals, how do they then communicate this value, this service in a way that's effective? I mean, what's one of the things that you can help do to educate them as to how to best communicate this to a potential client?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it does start with the conversation techniques and identifying what's called a burning issue. And once I
Okay.
can do that, the burning issue, normally what I'm doing is I teach people to learn for or listen for 6 buckets, one of 6. If I can put you in one of 6 buckets, I can show you a simple technique to get you to understand what the issue really is. And the 6 buckets that I look for is it's operational or future or debt or cash flow or profit. There's one I'm missing. Profit, cash flow. Oh, education, meaning
Yep.
I don't know what I don't know. So those are the 6 buckets. And I built an app. I think you probably saw it maybe at ProfitCom, but
Yeah.
the app, it's designed to be a simple picture to tell the data story of the company so that the business owner can get it. And it does a thing called clear the noise, which means I can strip out a lot of the data around that is just noise and get you to focus on what the most important thing the data is trying to tell you.
So if I'm an accounting professional, and I'm trying to now offer this as a service, I think there's 2 ways to consider it. There's one is a value add to the current client relationship that I have. Clearly, I'd want to increase my fees perhaps for the additional service. But what I want to talk about is the actual offering of this as a service, a standalone service that I'm going out and marketing with the intent of finding clients that want this particularly, not the other services. How do you actually help an accounting professional understand what they can do to offer value in this space?
Yeah, what's funny is that I now have about a 90% close rate with business owners.
Hmm.
And it's generally one technique that I use out of the clear path to cash, and it's mining your business for hidden cash.
Okay.
Because most people that come to me, right, cash on mic, and what I'm hearing from a lot of my clients is that they'll say things like, I'm making money, but I don't have any, right? Or,
Uh-huh.
why am I paying all this tax? I feel like I didn't make anything last year. There's always these signals that lead you to believe that they don't have enough money or don't feel like they do, right? They don't know where it's going. So I do this technique called mining your business for hidden cash as part of the sales conversation. So I'm not selling you on my packages and what I can do. I'm saying, hey, listen, let's just take a look and see where the cash is leaking out, because that technique builds a cash leak map. Once I can show you where it's leaking, it also quantifies it. Hey, we just found $300,000 in 3 moves. Would you like my help to go get it? That's how I sell the package, because they're like going, oh, your package is how much? We'll just say it's 2,000. I'm making up a number. 2,000 a month is what it costs for the service, but we're going after 1.5 million or whatever the hidden cash number is. Would you trade $2,000 for a chance at 1.5 million? And it's
So,
a simple yes.
so with someone saying yes to that, now you've got an accounting professional that needs to deliver on that service. They're getting paid for something. So how do you go about systematizing that engagement so that it's actually a process that the accountant can use with the client and do so effectively time and time again?
Yeah, it's a in the book, Don't Tell Me What to Do. It's an 8-step conversation process. It's not a script, right? Even though I give people examples about what to say in different things, but it's a script to identify the problem. Because what I've seen in the past that didn't work for me is every time I tried to put a program in that was hard coded,
Mhm.
meaning do step 1, then do step 2, then do
Yeah.
step 3, it would fall apart because the client would be in a different space than what the program said. So what I've done is build a little bit more flexibility. What makes it so powerful is the ability for the advisor to find the issue during every conversation and begin working on just that issue. You might see 100 problems, but you need to address the pain that your client feels right now, not the pain that you see, right? Or not the problems that you see. And that's the hardest skill to learn is I gotta work on that. If my step-by-step program says do valuation, but they don't know if they're going to make payroll, I can't
Yeah.
do valuation, right? I have to do payroll stuff.
So the thing that I'd like to know then is if you're working with someone, a business owner, what are the common blind spots that they're having that they may be experiencing that are these things that are unique to every situation that step outside of this step 1, step 2, step 3 scenario? What are those blind spots?
Yeah, you know what's funny is that the blind spot for me is everybody tells the business owners like going, you need to work on your business, not just in your business, but nobody tells you what that means.
Yeah.
Nobody. I actually built a map. It's a cause and effect map, right? That defines what's on and what's in, right? So it looks just like that. I say everything that's inside this box is in your business. That's the things that we do all day long. It's the thousands of things that go from selling to pricing to spending on operating expense. The things that are around the box are action items that are impacted by what you do inside. And for an example, some of the blind spots are I have low net profit. That's probably because of one of the things inside my business when it might be impacted by something that's on your business, such as low net profit. I always look at what happens next. So the diagram I built is here's what to expect next because I'm about avoiding the problem rather than just treating the problem, right? I want to avoid it first. So what's built around it are all the things like negative operating cash flow, words like current ratio and quick ratios and things like that. These are warning lights that go off. When I see a low current ratio, that's one of the contributors to negative operating cash flow. If I see a low quick ratio, chances are that I need to also look at inventory because the difference between current ratio and quick ratio is the amount of inventory you're carrying, right? That's why they call it the acid test. You've heard that before, acid test?
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah. Right. Back in the gold rush days, they put acid on the gold nugget.
Yep.
If it stayed clear, it was gold. If it turned brown, it was fool's gold. Right. What it's saying is it's not real wealth. And that's what the quick ratio does is it tells people it's not real wealth because it's wealth on the shelf. You got too much inventory.
Yeah.
So anyway, the blind spots are not looking at the things that actually cause the problem. They're just looking at what they're doing on a daily basis.
So I'm an accountant. I'm obviously working with my clients doing all this. I'm curious, when you're working with an accounting professional, what is one of the things that holds them back from moving this direction of actually working with their clients in this advisory space, addressing cash flow situations? Because as a business owner, these are clearly needs that they have. One of the common things that most business owners face and struggle with is cash flow management. So there's the need, but as an accounting professional, I might be stuck with, I'm a bookkeeper, I'm a tax preparer, I'm an accountant. How do I actually get the confidence to move into this space, charge for it, and deliver on it? What holds them back?
Yeah. So first of all, it is the confidence, right? And confidence comes from two different things. One is that nobody teaches you how to do this. There's not a degree in advisory services. Right? It's just, you have to kind of either learn it by doing it and seeing it. But secondly, because there's no training program, there's no confidence in what you're going to say next or do next, right? The other thing is they've never done it before. So now you got a new skill that has a vague, aura around it. And then you've never done it before. So those two things is what I try to tackle in my course, The Clear Path to Cash, right? Is to give you some methodology, some step-by-step things to follow, but then also have a series of role plays. We've got an immersion event coming up in May. I think it's like 2 weeks after yours, where people will come in and we'll just do 2 days of role plays on different scenarios that you see in businesses. And then, of course, I surround them with not only there's 3 pillars to my program, which is the video courses. There's the group live support training where I'm doing a lot of role plays and continue to train. And then there's the software product that supports it, right? So it's like a crutch, around you. So I try to, wrap my loving arms around you and say, hey, listen, we're going to be okay and do this together.
So you brought up 2 things. Well, one thing, and I'm going to add to it a second. I've always said that there are 2 keys to success: confidence and competence. The confidence to look the business owner in the eye and actually say, this is something I can deliver, I can help you with, I can take care of. And that confidence gives them the ability to say yes to your request to obviously take those services. The competence is then the ability to go back and deliver on that service, to do so efficiently and profitably. Because if those 2 things are in place, you're going to be profitable and successful in your business because people are going to be drawn to you, you're going to be able to deliver, and you'll be paid well for your services. Now, the thing I want to ask now, though, is on the other side. So you got the accountant, you've also got the business owner. And a lot of times the business owners, you give them this advice, you give them these things, and they struggle to actually make or take action on these things. What can you do as an accounting professional to help the business owner actually implement or apply these strategies in their business?
Yeah, the first thing is stop using words like liquidity, solvency, and and leverage. If you're using those, nobody's. I teach at the Graduate School of Banking at Colorado. I got bankers that can't describe to me what that means. I'll say, hey, what's solvency to you? And they'll just fumble around on it. Oh, they're making money or not. They're solvent. No, it means they have enough money to make their long-term debt payments. They need to be able to say things when it's financial jargon in a way that somebody can understand. If you say, hey, you got enough money to make your debt payments, the business owner goes, oh, I get it, right? I'm learning, I'm teaching, we're there together. Sometimes terminology gets in our way of actually getting people to progress because they're not going to tell you because they're embarrassed that they don't know what it means.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to be silent, right? They're going to be silent and they're going to nod. Yep, I get it. They're going to go out and says, I don't know what they're talking about.
Mike, I think what you just said there is hugely important because one of the things that I think that really struggles within the accounting profession is our ability to effectively communicate with our clients. These business owners are very good in their industries. They know their stuff, their product, their service. They're very competent as it comes to running their business. The challenge is they're sometimes intimidated by us because of these terms that you're sharing. We bring a vocabulary that they're not familiar with, but yet we assume because they're a business owner that these business terms are ones that they obviously know because if you're in business, you ought to know these things. That's not true. These are terms that we're familiar with because of the training and education we've had. And we bring this to them as if these are epiphanies or ahas that they should be experiencing, but yet they don't know what to look at, nor do they understand what they're seeing. So what we're doing here is we have to become what I refer to as the translator, that person that can take what you just said, solvency, and explain it in terms that an eighth grader could realize. That business owner is now able to say, I get it. And that matters to me. And what you just said is important. But until you use those terms, it didn't make sense. Now it makes sense. And now I'm in a position where I can actually make some decisions to improve that situation. Would you agree?
So true. So true. That's just like current ratio. I don't even use that with my clients. Current ratio. I say, hey, do you make enough money to support yourself? That's what the current ratio is really telling you. Right. And when you say it that way, they go, what do you mean? Well, do you have enough cash just to pay your own bills? And that's what it's telling you. Now, when you got just that small phrase to connect to their own business, oh, when I see current ratio, that's telling me I have enough.
I'm liking this. Yeah. The more the business owner can understand what it is we're doing for them and then use it as something that they can apply in their business, they appreciate what we're doing because now it's actually helping them improve their current situation. They see value in the services we're offering. So I have to ask this. You talk to a lot of accountants like I do. We're speaking to them, trying to empower them, help them see various things that they can do to complement their services, improve the value of what it is they offer their clients. What do you find typically holds the accountant back from acting on learning or applying these services within their firm to better service their clients?
Yeah, to me, it's like a catch-22. I don't have enough time to learn it, right? And I won't do it because I don't know it, right? It's like, you need to set aside some time, right? It's working on yourself. And the movement of the accounting industry is already there, right? It's like get on the train and figure it out, which means you have to put together some time each week just to learn it, right? Learn to have the conversation, learn a technique, practice it with, people in my community or practice it with a client. You got somebody that's a friendly, say, hey, I'm learning some stuff. Can I just work through it with you a little bit and see how that, if I can practice? I think that's okay, but they're going to have to spend some time on it, like it's any new skill.
I think you nailed it with what you said is the problem. One is their ability to find the time to actually learn this and apply this. And it's the converse of, I don't know what to do. So you've got to eliminate that. And it does take time, but it's investing in themselves, whether they choose to see it as a personal investment in themselves from a skills point of view, or a business investment in the sense that this is going to be an investment as to an additional service they're providing. However, they're choosing to actually rationalize it is totally fine. The point is they do need to invest. Why? Because the accounting profession is, like you said, it's a train moving forward as a profession. And we don't do more or less paper accounting like we used to in the past. When was the last time you handled a journal or a ledger? It's not physically there. We've moved to a cloud-based accounting program. So we went from paper to computers. Now we've gone from computers to being on the cloud. We're going from the cloud to being in AI. We've got these tech stacks that actually support and complement the general ledger platforms that we're utilizing. These things are basically the evolutions of the accounting profession. Well, with that comes skills and talents that we need to enhance as well. It's not just all technical. So I really liked how you described it a moment ago. So I do have to ask this question then as it relates to your business. You've been doing some amazing things. I know you speak a lot. I know that you actually have the app, as you mentioned, the books that you've written, the course that you have. I'm kind of curious, as you've gone through this evolution of building and growing your business, what has happened as it relates to you and your personal life? How has your personal life changed?
Infinitely better, right? Because I've got a partner in life that, I mean, she works on the other side of the house, right?
Uh-huh.
So we're kind of there together. We're spending more time. We're spending more quality time. If we travel, we can travel together just based on, this job versus working in a corporation. I just have a lot more freedom to maneuver. But you got to go back to, why did I want to do this? Why didn't I not want to just go back to another software company and continue being in sales or being in customer success? It's because I truly believe that I'm on a mission to eliminate cash flow as a reason that businesses fail. Right. And if you have that in your heart, whatever it is that you do, why do you go to work every day? I want to help people not fail. You can fail for other reasons, not because you run out of money. Right. That's the thing, because that's the easiest thing to fix.
I love how you just said that. One, to have a mission. That knowing your why can be very empowering, because I found a lot of people that are successful, they tap into that passion. They have that energy because it's something that they're eager to actually accomplish. So I do know that about you, and that's something that I've always been impressed by. The other thing that I was eager to hear you say is the fact that you have something deliberate that you're addressing, and it's the cash flow problems that so many people do face. I remember talking to, or not talking, it was a panel discussion where the person was speaking of a meeting with the committee at Congress about the economy, and they were talking about the difference between accrual accounting and cash accounting. And the legislative people were struggling as Congress people to say, why is a business going bankrupt when clearly they're doing well with sales and all this other stuff? At an accounting level, it looks like the business is fine. Why are they going bankrupt? And they just couldn't understand the difference between accrual and cash accounting. That the fact is at the end of the day, they have financial obligations that they need to meet, and the cash isn't there. It's all in receivables. It's all in inventory. It's a great product or service, but unless you have the cash, you're going to be in a pickle of a situation. And so that's one of the things that I think a lot of business owners struggle with. They might have great products or services that they're actually starting or building as a business, but unless they have that business model that causes them to have positive cash flow, they're going to be in a world of hurt.
What's funny is that I purposely misspell accrual accounting in front of clients all the time. I misspell it, and it's not ACCURAL, it's ACRUEL. It's cruel. It's cruel. It makes you think you're making money and you're not, or you have money and you don't.
Yeah.
It's just a cool way of looking at your finances.
Wow, that is interesting. I've never intentionally spelt it like that to make a point, but that is a great point to make to people, because it is cruel. It is very cruel. So that is very smart. I haven't heard that one before. That's good. So Mike, I've known you for some time now, Cashflow Mike. One of the things that we were talking about before the show started is the weather changing. It's getting to be hot there. What do you do for pastime? What do you do to kind of disconnect or re-energize?
You know what's funny? All right, so I've become old. I used to golf and stuff like that. I have become the guy that is obsessed with my lawn. I will walk the lawn. I will pick the weeds. I will, trim the hedge. Anything I can do out there. It's got to be just pristine. It's got to be perfect. I love it when people are doing their neighborhood walks and things like that, and they go, "Hey, what do you do with your yard?" I'm like, "I invest my time, right, in my love."
All right. So if you're a lawn guy, I've got to ask this. I know you're in Texas. Do you have chiggers there?
We got the ants, the fire ants. Don't got as many
ants.
chiggers. Yeah, we got the fire ants. So if you go out in the yard barefoot, and you catch a little bit of an ant hill, you're going to know it really fast.
Wow. Okay. So that's the thing. And then the next is my grass here. It's a Kentucky bluegrass. And so it's kind of a nice, soft, you can walk on it barefoot, kind of have a good relaxing thing with your feet in the sand or in the grass. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it more of a coarse, kind of a long grain or a long blade grass there that's a little bit more of a coarse thing that you don't really want to walk around barefoot in?
Not in my yard, but
not in your yard. Okay, good.
But the builders put in out here. Again, I live in a newer neighborhood. The builders put in a Bermuda, which I don't like. I think it's wispy. I think it's too thin. I think it doesn't hold up well. It takes, a lot of water, stuff like that.
Yep.
So I replaced mine with Zoysia, right? Because I love how compacted it gets. It's almost like a carpet. When you step on it, there's a little bit of a squish underneath your feet.
Yeah, it gives.
Yeah, it gives just a little bit. So I like the tight knit of it, and just when you cut it, it's like a perfect leveled carpet. When you cut it, it's really nice.
Very good. Does it take much water?
It does. I mean, so I got to save all winter so I can water it in the summer. It's just part of it, right? It's just part of it. But we're usually on water restrictions here in San Antonio because we got 90s to 110.
Oh yeah,
most of summer. So we got like one day of spring and one day of fall, and it's either winter or mostly summer. I think it's 90% summer.
Yeah, no, you're down there where it is more summer than not. Yeah, I get all 4 seasons up here in Utah, so I'm quite happy with what we've got. But I do enjoy the summers. When it gets over 100, it's definitely a summer, so I get it. Here's my next question. You were talking about conferences. Last time we just saw one another was at ProfitCon. You'll be speaking at GrowCon. I was just wanting to ask, what do you see as valuable about attending and participating at conferences? Why should accounting professionals go to a conference?
You know what? People buy people. I mean, first of all, just like when I say buy people, it isn't like you're going to buy something. It's like I connect with people better at a conference than maybe over Zoom. Even though we can get along pretty well here, there's nothing that beats shaking your hand, giving you a hug, looking in the eye, learning more about you. Those are the things that I think build your network out, and you learn so much because everybody's willing to share something with you, right? Nobody's holding back and not telling you the secret to success. They're giving it to you just by spending a few minutes with them.
Excellent. There are so many things I can come up with as to why I like attending a conference. And one of the things that you just mentioned is the fact that you get that personal interaction. The fact that you can actually touch someone is very valuable. Shake the hand, put their hand on the shoulder, give them a hug. The thing that doesn't happen when you're doing something virtual is that connection. I mean, I can multitask. I can sit there and, listen in, but it's just not the same experience when you're there in person. You get to experience it. And it's the things that happen after the speaker spoke. It's the in-between things that are going on, the networking that's occurring. That's where the relationships are built. And so there's just so many added values to actually attending an event. It gets me away from the office, so I'm not being dragged back into the day-to-day operations. I'm removed. I can actually disconnect and focus on some of the things that I need to. And oftentimes I get greater clarity there on things that I'm dealing with at the office because I've removed myself from the noise of it all. So just a number of advantages to attending a live event. So excited to see you at GrowCon.
Yeah, I'm excited, right? Because I think I missed last year. I had another commitment, but
you did.
I'm back.
You're back. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to come back to you for a closing thought, but there are a number of things I'd like to point out. First of all, Mike has been very kind for our listeners to actually offer some things here that I'd love for you to take advantage of. One of the things is that you can get a free ebook download of the 7-minute conversation that we were discussing earlier. Highly recommended. This is one of his first books, if not the first book, if I recall correctly. And it basically is covering things that you need to be aware of as it relates to your speaking with your potential clients. So definitely get in that book and read it. The other is a discount code that you can take advantage of for a 30-day membership that he has with his program. So definitely check out the episode description there. You'll get the information you need to take advantage of each of those. In addition, with Universal Accounting sponsoring today's episode, I want to point out a few things that you also should take advantage of, which is first and foremost a book that is called Red to Black. It's principles that you need to understand and know as to help address the very thing that business owners struggle with, and it's the cash flow that we're discussing here today. This is the how-to guide for accounting professionals to offer these services so that you can actually go in and assist your clients as a profit and growth expert. So get the copy of the book Red to Black. In addition to that, you can actually find out more about becoming a profit and growth expert so that you can actually confidently and competently offer these services. So check out in the episode description information as it relates to becoming a profit and growth expert. These are things that you do not want to miss out on. Why? Because business owners need your help. This is the most common struggle or challenge that business owners face. And just like Mike mentioned, he's on a mission to actually help business owners remove this as the excuse for failing, which is cash flow. So take advantage of these different things. Now, as a summary of our conversation, one of the things that I want to point out is Mike is very good at being passionate about this topic of cash flow. And I like the fact that we were able to, first of all, start with communication. It is how we can effectively communicate not only the services that we're offering, but in meeting with the clients, helping them understand what we're learning about their business and how it affects their companies. It is in the communication, the art of being able to actually de-escalate or diffuse those conversations so that they're not frustrated or embarrassed or maybe on the defensive, not willing to be transparent. We've got to help them become comfortable with who we are. And then at the same time, as we're sharing the information, be willing to now listen and understand how to best implement it in their business. So that was really important. I liked how we got into the vocabulary of the accounting profession and how sometimes we don't even know what we're talking about, or at least we struggle in explaining how it applies to the business owner. And it's that idea of getting to the point where we're actually using terms that they can relate to, understand, and see why it's relevant in their company. So very important part of this. We talked about obviously now seeing this as a value add to our business, not just simply as something that we're doing to maybe better service our clients or better retain them, but also as a way of generating additional revenue. That obviously addressing this as an advisor, we're able to actually offer a new revenue stream to our business model, going out there and now finding clients specifically who need these types of services so that we can actually work with them as a business advisor, helping them with the cash flow struggles that they may be facing. The other thing that I thought was also very helpful is this whole idea of what's holding back the accountant from moving forward. And it's this fact that so many times what we're finding is that they're reluctant to invest in themselves, the time and the money to acquire these skills to provide these services competently. One of the things that's very true is we are busy, but we have to realize that the accounting profession is evolving. It is moving. And what is expected of us as business owners work with accounting professionals is that we can better service them and the real needs that they have. And cash flow clearly is one of those needs that they have. So we want to obviously encourage each of you to find the time and the money, the willingness to actually invest in your skills to better service your clients where their needs are and meet them there. Now, with all this being said, one of the things that we also talked about is the grass. Obviously, Mike, he does find a way of recharging himself and moving away from golf. He's finding that he's actually now the one going out there and picking through the lawn and taking care of it. That's great. He's that neighbor that's actually got the green grass and everyone is jealous of. So, Mike, you're a good man, and I'm happy to know that you're taking care of your lawn. So, with all that said, Mike, what else would you like to leave as a closing thought?
Hey, you know what? We're on a mission again to eliminate cash flow and build. This is important because you brought it up. I hadn't thought about it. Build a lifestyle friendly business, right? Something that supports you and your dreams and what you want to do in the future.
That is awesome. That is a great way to end this, because at the end of the day, that's why we're in business, both our clients and ourselves. It's that lifestyle. It's that future. It's beginning with the end in mind. How's this actually all going to come to an end? And what you're doing there with your business is amazing. So, Mike, I'm happy to know you, and thanks for that insight. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this up real quickly by first of all saying, if you've liked this episode and enjoyed it, if you haven't already subscribed, do subscribe to the podcast. We'd love to actually have you subscribed and set your notifications so that you get notified each and every week when we release a new episode. Having on the show here those experts who need to help us, who are helping us build the premier accounting firm in our area. In addition to this, if you'd like to go and listen to past episodes, go to universalaccounting.com, and in the navigation, actually see on the website, the podcast section. There we have highlights, playlists that we've actually put together of past episodes where we've actually had discussions around topics that are perhaps relevant to your situation. If that's the case, go binge listen these. Go into the playlists that are addressing marketing, selling, pricing, tech stacks, staff training, mental health, just a variety of the topics that are perhaps relevant to your current situation that you would gain from diving into a little bit more deeper. In addition, we talked about GrowCon. Obviously, if you do not have your ticket now, get it. We'd love to see you. Both Mike and I will be at GrowCon. We'd love to actually have you come by, say hello, and more importantly, take advantage of the opportunity to not only hear from the experts, but meet your peers and make those connections that you need to have so that you can be inspired by those around you who are doing as you are, building the premier accounting firm in your area. Likewise, you get to meet my staff, those individuals that are actually committed to helping you be in business for yourself, but not by yourself with Universal Accounting. So go to universalaccounting.com, and there actually in the navigation, click on GrowCon and get your ticket today. I look forward to seeing you there. Lastly, with regards to these principles and other concepts that we've actually addressed, if you'd like to dive into these more, feel free to reach out to my staff. You can go to universalaccountingschool.com to find more about the trainings and programs we offer, or more importantly, give us a phone call at 801-265-3777. And always remember this, accounting success is universal. Do take care, have a great day, and be safe out there. Mike, that was awesome.
We did good.
We always do good. You're a good man.
Yeah, make it fun, right? I mean, it's supposed to be, like you said, a conversation.
Yep, it is. And I thought we covered a lot of good topics. So it was a good conversation. So thank you. So here's what's going to happen. This did go live. So it's actually on YouTube and so forth. So if there's a preferred platform that you'd like to go check it out, you'll find that it's there. definitely go like it, share it, comment on it, promote it, and that'd be wonderful. But in addition, Brian's going to take this episode and he's going to clean it up and actually release it as an episode here in a number of weeks. I'd like to see if we can get it done before May, but we'll see what happens. As we release the episode, when it happens, we'll notify you that it's gone live, and we'll ask you again to like it, share it, promote it, and so forth.
Got it. I can do it.
Is there anything I can do for you?
No, I mean, just I think we've got a package together. I don't know. I paid for something.
Okay.
And no, I think if you run into folks that are looking for that extra boost, and I know you already have other people that have similar. Like I think there's some competitors, but I don't know. If you can just kind of push people my way every once in a while, I'm still trying to grow. So, I'm a new business and we could still use a few more customers.
Well, definitely. So just help me understand. Is it the membership that's the biggest push? Is it the course still? What's the big thing?
I went to only memberships, right? So you get the course, you get the group support. I do like an office hours almost every day, right? So there's ways to get in. I started doing that because people say, hey, I got this client. I want to do fast money formula with them. Talk me through it. Give me a strategy. And we'll do that during, those office hours every day.
Very good. All right. Well, I'll see what I can do to promote the membership. I know that you've got one of the sponsorships, so let's see what we can do to get that out there and hopefully build that membership list for you.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice because we're growing. And matter of fact, I saw my revenue flip last year, which is kind of cool. The first year I was more heavily into seminars because that's my legacy and that got it going. But our subscriptions and memberships kind of flipped to be the predominant revenue source last year. So it was really cool to see.
That is awesome. Congratulations on that. So here's what I'm going to have you do now. I'm going to have you go to the little chat thing that I sent earlier. I'm going to have you record that little promo piece.
Okay. When are you ready for that?
Right now, whenever you're ready.
I see. Recording when we discussed. I can't do the discussion like you did. You recapped it and almost did the whole podcast all over again. All right, ready? Here we go. Hey, it's Mike Milan, also known as Cashflow Mike, and I just had one of the most invigorating conversations with Roger from building the premier accounting firm. And I tell you what, we discussed everything from how to conversate with your clients to get them to take action, moving them from just being compliant with what you said to wanting to take the action or being committed to taking the action on their own. And you don't want to miss it. We've talked a whole range of conversation topics like, what are the blind spots? What are we missing? What should we do next? These are all included in this episode. So I want you to join me, tune in, listen, and, well, tell me what you think.